A wonderful life message for today is titled, Let Faith Be Your Fortune. Let faith be your fortune. And so we realize that it's faith is a power, but what is faith? So many people say, well, I don't have enough faith. Well, we all have enough faith. Faith is what we're thinking about. If we're thinking towards the good, our faith is going to generate something good in our life. If we're thinking towards the negative, our faith is going to generate something negative in our life because it responds to us according to our belief. We read that in the Bhagavad Gita, which was written 5 centuries before Jesus, and we read it throughout the Old Testament and throughout the Gospels. That is the good news that Jesus brought for all of us, that news that we can believe and we can receive. So as we take into our mind that my faith is my fortune, then we can believe that faith will generate that wonderful good desire from our heart that God is desiring to experience through us, because whatever God must do for us, God must do through us, through our faith. As Jesus said to everyone who he healed, he said, thy faith has made thee whole. It's thy faith. Do you believe, he would say. Thy faith has made thee whole. Believe that you have that faith no greater than the size of a mustard seed can generate the big things. Jesus said can move the mountain into the sea. In other words, it can do that thing greater than in our humanness we would ever think possible. That which seems impossible for mankind, Jesus tells us, is possible with God. So have faith that it is the Father that doeth the work, and let that work be done through you, through your faith, and let it become that wonderful experience that you desire to have and to realize right now, right where you are. Let it begin. Let that process begin of realization that your good is available. I'm going to open this with some wonderful words from the great Catherine Ponder. This is from her book, How to Live a Prosperous Life. How to Live a Prosperous Life. She writes, dare to be definite about prosperity. If you want prosperity to be definite and manifesting for you. People often hesitate to write down and think about what they really desire. They do not realize that the mind is the connecting link between man and the rich but unformed substance of the universe. If you never think definitely about the prosperous results you desire, no mental contact is made with the rich substance of the universe, and you must drift along in a stream of limitation and dissatisfaction. When you write down your desires for the day, for the week, or for the month, list what you really want, not what you think you should have, nor what somebody else thinks you should have. Your deep-seated desires are God's good tapping at the door of your mind. Your deep-seated desires are God's good tapping at the door of your mind. Furthermore, write down dates by which you wish your desired good to be accomplished. You will be amazed at how the substance of heaven and earth will hasten to do your bidding when you give it definite desires and dates through which to work out the good results. And dates with which to work out the good results. So often we forget that we have so many things. That was from the great Catherine Ponder. Often we forget that we have so many things available to us to open our mind to receive. I have talked about us being too busy before in my lesson, but I think there is more to it than just that. Often we just really don't believe that it will make any difference. And I think this comes from our collective belief in luck or fortune. And the luckiest person is the one with the greatest of faith. The luckiest person is the one with the greatest of faith. We must always remember and never forget our faith is our fortune. Our faith is our fortune, but we must let our faith be our fortune and have confidence in it. The good thing about faith is that we can cultivate it and increase it beyond any measure of faith we have possessed in the past. We do this by making a decision to do so. That's all it takes to increase our faith, a decision that we stick to even when it appears that our faith has failed us. And where's the substance of our faith? It's in our thoughts. It's in our thoughts. We keep thinking all things work to my good because God is working through all things for me. And as I allow myself to believe and realize within my own mind, have that conviction that my faith will bring forth the wholeness in my health, the wholeness in my financial condition, the wholeness in my relationships, the wholeness in my career, my creative expression, the wholeness in whatever it is that I seek and desire to realize in my life, that I can know that my faith is generating that good result as I begin to think towards that result, to see that result, to think about what it's like to have it, to be it, and to do it. Now, Catherine Ponder's books are studied around the world, and countless numbers of people have benefited from her lessons in prosperity. But not one person has benefited that did not put into practice the lessons that she teaches and writes about. Her books are filled with testimonials of people who have prospered in their health, prospered in their finances, and prospered in their personal relationships. Prosper means to increase or add to that which we already have, whatever it may be. Many spiritual teachers have taught us that we give our thoughts, words, and ideas greater power by writing them down. Yet Catherine Ponder has illuminated the practice so well that it would be foolish not to make the decision to put this idea into daily practice, to put it into daily practice. So write down, she says, write down what you desire for today, for the week, for the month, for the year, whatever it may be, whatever it is that you have in your mind, and let that desire take form in the words that you write down. Let yourself realize that by writing it down, you're making a decision to experience it. You're making a decision to experience it. So many of the things that seem so simplistic create profound shifts in our consciousness. The reason this is so, I believe, is because the grace of God is always giving us the most effortless ways possible in which to receive a greater good. Writing down our desires for the day is simple, and so is putting $1 in the envelope and mailing it, and by doing so, we are giving our mind direction aligned with faith, and faith always finds its fulfillment. And as we align ourselves consciously with our desires, there must always be a response in spirit. Spirit is the mind of God, the intelligence of God, the power of God, and we can get into the spirit of living in a greater way as we take our mind off what we don't have and put our mind on the potentialities and the possibilities of increasing that good that we desire. Writing down our desires for the day is a definite thing, and we can make them even more definite by writing when we want them accomplished. Let's take a look at an example that came to me this week. It is a common phrase, too common in fact. Someone wrote to me and said, I live from paycheck to paycheck, and this statement, in fact, is a statement of faith. It is believed and accepted as the truth. And as long as the person who says it believes it, they will continue to live from paycheck to paycheck. But let's not get into that for ourselves. Let's not let ourselves be limited by a paycheck. Let's not let ourselves be limited by the mind that thinks that we must live, that we can only live from paycheck to paycheck. The law of God will validate this belief until it is changed, just as Jesus tells us. It's done unto you as you believe. And as we read in the Bhagavad Gita, 5 centuries before Jesus, it's done according to your faith. So whatever it is that we have faith in, that we think, and we think it as a reality for us, that we shall experience. The great Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote, the law of your mind is a law of belief itself. What we believe makes us who we are. William James, the great philosopher, observed that whatever people expect to be true will be so, irrespective of whether the object of their belief exists in fact. In the West, we have made the truth our highest value. This motivation, while important, is weak next to the actual power of belief in shaping our lives. Whatever you give your subconscious, whether it's false or true, and subconscious is our soul, is another word for our soul, good or evil, it will register as fact. It will register as fact. That's from the great Dr. Joseph Murphy, who wrote that classic book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Now, this belief in living from paycheck to paycheck can be changed effortlessly by writing our desire for increase in a definite way, daily. My finances, including my paycheck, reflects an increase within the next 2 weeks. I accept this, and I believe it to be true for me now. Now, if somebody can write that down and believe it, it will be true for them. Let's look at those words again. My finances, including my paycheck, reflects an increase within the next 2 weeks. I accept this, and I believe it to be true for me now. Can we believe that? If we can believe it, then we write it down, and we take it into our mind and tell ourselves, this is the truth for me, something will surely happen. If this is something that you desire, write these words out for yourself, read them, and say them to yourself every day. These statements can be changed to fit your own personal desires or your own personal beliefs. You might say, within the next month, or within the next 6 months, or within the next 3 months, whatever it is that you can believe for yourself to be true. We can direct our mind in this way daily and let our mind expect to see the increase. We can imagine it is so, and it will be so for each and every one of us. As Catherine Ponder writes, dare to be definite about prosperity. Dare to be definite about prosperity. And it's that definiteness that moves our mind to think about the things that we want to experience, to think about the things that we want to enjoy, to think about the things that we want to increase in our life, the good that we want to increase. As we believe that the riches and wealth of abundance are all around us, and we can see it every day, and if you can't see it, go take a look at Forbes magazine and start reading about those people who are in the top 10 of Forbes' richest people on the planet. And you'll find that all those people had the ideas come to them that enrich their lives financially and enrich their lives with joy and happiness and peace, that each of them acted on a desire, and some of them acted on a single desire, and expanded that desire into something greater than they at first believed it to be. As we believe that the riches and the wealth of abundance are all around us, we must also believe that we're not separate and apart from it, that we are part of this rich abundance that God has created on this planet. As we write our desires into the mind, into the spirit, and let this mind, this intelligence which is God, which is our source of all things wonderful and good, respond to us, beginning right now, right where we are, let's write it down today, then we can realize, just as Jesus did, that God does respond to us according to our faith and our belief. So let our faith be our fortune. Let faith be our fortune becomes a real challenge for some people, but it becomes a reality for others. It becomes a reality of others. Remember, let's go back and look at those words from the gospel one more time. From the lips of Jesus, we can hear that which is impossible for mankind is possible with God. Jesus said the Father is spirit, and we must worship him, trust in him, depend on him, rely on him, love him in spirit and in truth. Spirit and in truth. So let's go back and review those words from the great Catherine Ponder one more time from her book, How to Live a Prosperous Life. I'm sure you can buy this book on BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com if you look it up. It's Catherine Ponder, How to Live a Prosperous Life. She spells Catherine Catherine, and she writes, dare to be definite about prosperity. If you want prosperity to be definite and manifesting for you, people often hesitate to write down and think about what they really desire. They do not realize that the mind is the connecting link between man and the rich but unformed substance of the universe. If you never think definitely about the prosperous results you desire, no mental contact is made with the rich abundance or substance of the universe. You must drift along in a stream of limitation and dissatisfaction. When you write down your desires for the day, for the week, or the month, list what you really want, not what you think you should have, nor what somebody else thinks you should have, but list what you really want. Your deep-seated desires are God's good tapping at the door of your mind. Your deep-seated desires are God's good tapping at the door of your mind. In other words, God is desiring it for you, but God must bring it through you in order for it to be realized in your life experience through your faith and your belief that it is yours. Furthermore, write down dates by which you wish your desired good to be accomplished. Do you want it in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year? Whatever it is that you can believe for yourself. Remember, we don't convince God to give us our good. We just must convince God that we accept our good, that we believe that it is. And if we believe that it is, and that means that we're receptive to it and we accept it as ours. As the great Emma Curtis Hopkins stated, there is good for me and I ought to have it. Why? Because God has prepared it for us by bringing to our awareness that good desire for us, through us, into our own mind. Catherine Ponder says, you will be amazed at how the substance of heaven and earth will hasten to do your bidding when you give it definite desires and dates through which to work out the good results, And let's start thinking about that. What is it that you would write down today? What is it that you would write down for yourself today? Let's say you have a health issue. So you would write down the principle of health. The living principle of health that God has given me is vital and radiant within me. That principle of health, which is part of God, is vital and radiant within me, and my health is increased to a healthier expression of the divine, a healthier expression of my physical body, my mental, my emotional state. Everything about me is healthy and happy. I feel it in my mind, my heart, and my soul today and every day. And within 1 week from today, I shall see a transformation of my health that will amaze everybody around me, and it will even amaze myself, because I know that my faith, I'm going to let my faith be my fortune, and I will find that health. And if the same thing applies to your finances, let's say you're struggling or you have bills that you can't pay, or there's things that you desire to experience, and remind yourself that God brought that desire into your mind that require money that you may not have at the moment. Start bringing and drawing that into your mind and start thinking towards having it, having that good thing, seeing yourself doing it, being it, enjoying it, experiencing it, loving it. See yourself already in possession of it, and you shall find yourself experiencing it in the perfect, right and perfect time soon enough. Soon enough. Writing down our desires for the day is definite, or for the week or the month or the 3 months or the 6 months or the year, whatever it may be, or say within 5 years. Within 5 years, you know, when they had the Oscar awards this year, Matthew McConaughey, who won the Best Actor award, said he would tell it, people would ask him who his hero is, and he said, my hero is me in 5 years. So he would see he would think about what he would be in 5 years, and then in 5 years, when they came to him, they said, well, it's been 5 years, who's your hero now? He said, my hero is me in 5 more years, in 5 years. Always putting something greater in advance, something greater to achieve, an increase in whatever it is, his abilities, his talents, his skills, whatever it is that he was desiring within himself, always focusing on that increase, that greater, making everything better. We have it within us to make our best better. It's up to us to make our best better. There's no God that's going to make us better without our being receptive and open to the better and accepting the better for ourselves. It's up to us to make our best better. So let's begin to make our best better by seeing in our mind, writing down what our best looks like to us, and putting a date next to it that says, I'm going to have this better by this day. Dr. Joseph Murphy says, the law of your mind is a law of belief itself. What we believe makes us who we are. What we believe makes us who we are. William James, the great philosopher, observed that whatever people expect to be true will be so, irrespective of whether the object of their belief exists in fact. In other words, so many people actually believe in the negative so much that they can't get out of their struggles. They can't get out of their illnesses. They can't get out of their dis-ease with life. Their dis-ease with life. You know, I remember reading one time Dr. Joseph Murphy said that poverty is a mental disease, a mental dis-ease, and in truth, it is, because people who are in poverty are always thinking about where they are and what they don't have, rather than thinking about the possibilities, the potentialities of that spirit within them to move through whatever it is, to transcend whatever they're experiencing into that greater. Their mind is disconnected from the spirit. And when we're connected to the spirit, when we're in tune with the infinite, our mind is always focused on the greater, on the better. So William James, a great philosopher, says, observe that whatever people expect to be true will be so, irrespective of whether the object of their belief exists in fact. In the West, we have made the truth our highest value. This motivation, while important, is weak next to the actual power of belief in shaping our lives. Whatever we give our subconscious, that is, that subconscious level of mind, that deeper mind, that soul level of mind, false or true, good or evil, it will register as fact. It will register as fact according to our belief. So let's move through our mind this morning with thoughts of greatness, of thoughts of making our best better, of thoughts that our faith is our fortune, that we don't have to look outside of us for our fortune. We just have to know within our mind that our fortune is already available to us, and that right where we are, right in this moment, right where we are, we can let our mind be free of anything that hinders us. We can let our mind be free of any negative experiences that have shackled us to a thought that somehow we have to live paycheck to paycheck, or somehow there's not enough, or somehow the rich get richer and we don't. No, we're rich in the Spirit. And if we're rich in the Spirit, we can be rich in all things good soon enough. Once again, this is Reverend Dr. Henry Lee Bates. I want to thank you for being with me today.